Episode, we're going to talk about Josh Allen, the 2026 edition. And I want to consider this conversation through the lens of three different things: what I'm curious about, what I'm concerned about, and what I am excited about. And that's where we will start. Now, 2026 is a unique year for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. It's the first time in a long time that Sean McDermott wasn't the head coach, and it's the first time that Josh Allen will take the field in the NFL without Sean McDermott as his head coach. Joe Brady, now the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and I think this puts a lot on Josh Allen. A lot. The expectations don't change at all. This team is expected to go on a deep playoff run. And Josh Allen
has spent 9 seasons in the NFL absorbing hits, shaking off blitzes, and outrunning pass rushers twice his size. But as he heads into the 2026 season, the biggest threat to his legacy isn't lining up across the line of scrimmage. It's something far harder to tackle: expectations that have never been higher. Let's set the scene. The Buffalo Bills just blew up their entire coaching staff. After 9 years together, the organization parted ways with head coach Sean McDermott. In his place steps Joe Brady, a coach who's been around the building since 2023, but is stepping into the top job for the very first time. Brady didn't just inherit a roster. He inherited a quarterback who trusts him, a fan base that's tired of waiting, and a front office that's clearly done asking for patience. That relationship between Brady and Allen is exactly why Buffalo handed him the keys. The two have built real chemistry over the past few seasons, working closely on game plans and play calls, and that comfort level is supposed to translate into instant results. Not next year, now. And it's not just the head coaching chair that changed hands. The Bills also brought in a new defensive coordinator and a new special teams coordinator, meaning almost every corner of this coaching staff looks different heading into training camp. For a roster that's used to continuity, that's a lot of new voices in the building all at once, even if the quarterback room feels familiar. Normally, that much turnover buys a team some grace. A retooling year. A little patience while everyone gets on the same page. Not in Buffalo. Not with Josh Allen entering his 9th season at 30 years old. The expectation isn't just to make the playoffs or compete for a division title. It's to be in the MVP conversation. It's to do that with a supporting cast that's good, but not great. And ultimately, it's to deliver the one thing that's eluded this franchise for decades. A trip to the Super Bowl, ideally celebrated in a brand new stadium that the entire region has been waiting years to see filled with confetti. Think about that combination for a second. A new home field. A new head coach calling the shots for the first time in his career. A defense and special teams unit being rebuilt from the coordinator position down. And somehow, despite all of that change, the bar hasn't moved an inch. If anything, it's gotten higher because every offseason that passes without a championship adds another layer of urgency to the next one. One analyst summed it up by pointing out that ownership and the fan base have essentially run out of patience, and that Allen is being asked to carry an enormous burden this season. That's not an exaggeration. That's the reality Allen is stepping into. Here's the thing about pressure like this. It can absolutely bring out the best in a competitor. Some of the league's greatest performances have come from quarterbacks backed into a corner with no other option but to deliver. Allen himself has had moments like that, the kind of fourth-quarter drives that get replayed for years. But pressure cuts both ways. It can also create cracks in places that used to feel rock solid. A questionable read becomes a back-breaking interception. A missed audible becomes a viral moment for all the wrong reasons. A single bad week can snowball into a referendum on whether the whole era has been a failure, even after years of regular season success. When the margin for error shrinks this much, even small mistakes get magnified into season-defining narratives, and the conversation stops being about the next game and starts being about Allen's entire legacy. And turning 30 doesn't help quiet the noise, even if it probably should. Quarterbacks, unlike running backs or receivers, tend to age gracefully, often getting smarter and more efficient as their legs lose a step, but their decision-making sharpens. Plenty of the league's best signal callers have had some of their finest seasons well into their 30s, putting up career numbers long after people assumed they had peaked. But try telling that to a fan base that's watched their team come painfully close year after year without ever finishing the job. Logic doesn't always win against frustration, and in a market like Buffalo, frustration has been building for a long time. Which brings us to the part of this story that stings the most. If there was ever a season where the stars aligned for Buffalo to finally break through, it was the one that just ended. Look at who wasn't even in the playoff picture. The Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, three of the exact teams that have haunted the Bills and Josh Allen throughout his career, all sitting at home when the postseason kicked off instead of standing in the way once again. For the first time in years, the road through the AFC didn't run through Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, or Patrick Mahomes, the very names that have ended Buffalo's seasons more than once in this Josh Allen era. By every reasonable measure, Josh Allen walked into that postseason as the best quarterback left standing in the entire conference. This was supposed to be the year. The path had cleared. The obstacles that had blocked Buffalo for so long simply weren't there anymore. And yet, somehow, it still wasn't enough. The Bills ran into the Denver Broncos in the Divisional Round and watched their season slip away in overtime in a game that felt like it had every chance of going Buffalo's way. Allen didn't go quietly. He battled, he made plays, he gave Buffalo every chance to survive and advance, leaving everything he had on the field in front of a home crowd that believed this was finally the year. But in the end, the Broncos walked off the field with the win, and the Bills were left to wonder what might have been, replaying the same painful question that's followed this team for nearly a decade now. Shortly after that loss, Sean McDermott was out, and the franchise began the complete reset it's carrying into 2026. That's what makes this upcoming season so loaded with tension. Buffalo doesn't know when, or if, they'll ever get a playoff bracket that's favorable again. Teams like Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Kansas City aren't going anywhere. They'll be back, and they'll be dangerous, which means the easiest road to a championship might already be behind Josh Allen, not in front of him. So as training camp opens and a new coaching staff settles in, this is the real story to watch in Buffalo. It's not whether Joe Brady can install his offense quickly enough or whether the new defensive coordinator can find answers up front. It's whether Josh Allen can carry the weight of an entire fan base's exhausted patience, a front office that's done waiting, and a wide open opportunity that already slipped through their fingers once. Allen has proven time and again that he can beat just about anything the opposing sideline throws at him. Blitzes, coverages, hostile road environments, you name it, he's found a way through it. But this season, his toughest matchup might not show up on Buffalo's schedule at all. It's the expectation that anything short of a Super Bowl will be treated as another disappointing chapter in a story that's already gone on for far too long. The question now is simple. Can Josh Allen finally turn that pressure into the diamond everyone in Buffalo has been waiting for? Or will this be the season it finally cracks something that's been holding strong for 9 years? Either way, all eyes will be on number 17 the moment the season kicks off.